Now, I know normally we would play the Luka, but we heard that in the cross, and it is true that Luka hit the three that felt like it closed the door on the game. That was the first three I believe he made in the game. He's still shooting too much for my estimation, but I think that was always going to be a process. I think it's ridiculous to be like, he'll step on the court in game one and be like, yep, got it. Let's start passing.
I will say that this isn't fair to him because he's a million times better than the T-shaker Antoine Walker. Okay.
Text in what that stands for.
No, he was just mixing his tea up.
That's not what he
shaking his boobies because he made a shot for the 1 out of 4. Shake my boobies. So
not the Boston Tea Party. Gotcha.
It could be.
But Luka is having very Antoine Walker like box scores in how many times he shoots and how many times he scores. Like Antoine Walker's like average 20 a game. I'm like, you take 24 shots. That is a horrible percentage. Like your teammate Dirk Nowitzki takes 15 shots and averages 26. Do you see the difference? And Antoine's like, no, booby shake.
God, it's going to be a long day.
He started early, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Oh, you know what else I can do? I can buy apartments and become a slumlord.
What? I don't remember that.
Oh, Antoine Walker, slumlord, Chicago.
All right.
Okay.
I did not know that either.
Look into that. I don't really know. Okay. But what I want
Interesting, huh? Interesting way to start this.
That is an interesting way to start. Now, there's a lot of things that we can break down from this game, and I know some people had some concerns about the usage rate of Klay Thompson. But what I want to start with is you talked a lot in the past, Mike, about the scheduled loss. This felt like an early potential scheduled loss in terms of you had to do the back-to-back. You had to travel from Dallas to Minnesota to do the back-to-back. And Minnesota's a damn fine team. Mavs are underdog by 5.5 points. This felt like a scheduled loss. And I'm not going to lie. The first couple of minutes of the third quarter, I thought we were about to see that play out.
Well, and didn't it feel like, Corey, the revenge of Anthony Edwards as he gets 24 in the first quarter? And he
was
felt
on pace
like,
to get 100.
I want to show... Well, he's only going to get 96.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Put Corey in his place.
Stupid math.
Yeah. But, Corey, I know that you're a big Anthony Edwards fan. I think he's a great, great basketball player, too. But it felt like that first quarter or early on in the game, Anthony Edwards is going to show I've matured in the offseason and I'm ready. The team that destroyed me in the playoffs, I'm ready to show I am here to destroy you. So it did feel like in that first quarter at least that, oh, my gosh, Anthony Edwards is not going to let us win.
You know, I do. There's another part of that. The loss to Phoenix. Do you think that made a hey? Let's make sure we get this. You know, let's make sure we get this one back here. I don't know.
That's a good question. I guess I don't necessarily think that as much as.
And I for a second, I'm sorry. I also thought that was the first of the back-to-back. That's the Jazz. But the other part though. They made it competitive. Anthony Edwards comes out in competitive, and I think that the guys on the other side, the Mavericks, they're like, I got too much pride. Mike, you've been asking that question of are they going to take it seriously? Last night they looked like they were. I mean, late in the fourth quarter, I know the game got closer, but late in the fourth quarter, they were fighting their butts off. And it starts with Gafford and Lively, and then it just trickles out through the rest of those guys. And when Kai's having the type of third and fourth quarters that he's having, and you know you can get that whenever you're getting that kind of play out of him, you see a team that looks like they want it, man.
And I want to throw this out for just 1 second, because people might ask or might not be familiar with what we're saying when we say take the regular season seriously. We talk about this. This is not only a Mavs problem by any stretch of the imagination. You see it all across the NBA is let's gear up for the playoffs, And this is the classic game where you could have been like, hey, it's back-to-back. We're on the road. It's going to be tough. Like, let's get ready for Thursday or whatever the next one is. And maybe we're not going to win this game, or we're going to find out about midway through the second quarter that this might not be our night. This felt like a regular season game where they dug in and picked up a win that I don't normally think the Mavericks win this game.
No, I am with you on it, and it was... I don't want to say surprising, but the Mavericks elevated their intensity where we saw, just like Corey was saying, a few nights ago in Phoenix. This wasn't the back-to-back Phoenix and then this one, but they didn't really have much intensity against Utah. Like, they beat Utah because they're just way more talented.
Yeah.
They did not beat Utah because of execution or because of much of anything besides we just have a lot more talent and more depth, and it ended up through 48 minutes playing out that you could beat a team you're probably 20 points better than, beating them by
not going to happen
10.
against Minnesota.
Right,
So,
you're going to lose by 20. If you come out with the same energy against Utah, you're going to lose that one by 20 easily. So it's weird. It's only the fourth game, but very proud of that win as a Mavericks fan.
Can I tell you why I don't think it matters as much that it's only the fourth game? Because I know we have said a lot of it's only the first game, second game, third game. How many games do you need to pick up that maybe you wouldn't have won last year? 5? Between 4 and 6? This is 1. You know, so that's what I like, because I think, how many wins did you have last year? How many wins do you need to get to probably be in the first or second seed? I would argue pretty strongly that you need 4 to 6 more victories that maybe they wouldn't normally pick up. They just got 1. Now, there's surely going to be some games along the way that you're like, what the hell happened there? Like,
and they're going to do this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you've picked up 1, and I think you need to get to 4 to 6. And so I think that's a big deal.
One of the other things I noticed last night, and it wasn't a lot, but it was better. Last year, P.J. Washington against the Celtics was bringing the ball up the court, and we're like, don't let him do that anymore. We don't want to see that anymore.
Especially against pressure. Like, Drew Holiday, please stop it. He's going to steal it, and he did.
And and last night, I felt like, and so far I've been watching, and he brings it up maybe 10 times throughout the game, but it's enough to get the ball out of the hands of Luka and Kyrie and give them that spell that they need, and it's a different look. And he looks more comfortable. They said, here's what we want you to focus on in the offseason. He looks more comfortable doing that. That combined with his defense and, occasional hot shooting, and he's continuing to grow in what the Mavericks are asking of him.
And P.J. Washington?
Yes.
I'm with you. I think he's going to be an inconsistent player, right? The other night against Phoenix, he goes back to like 2 points or 4 points, and you're just like, this is just who he is. That's what makes him a role player and not a borderline all-star, is he can have 15 to 20 duds on you where you're just like, you have to live with like, what happened to P.J. Washington? And he's going to have 15 to 20 games where he's awesome, and you're like, dude, if he plays like that, I don't know if we're going to lose with the rest of the talent you have on the team. And it's those other 40 games where he's like, solid role player, love him, wish he was the guy I saw 2 nights ago, but thank God he wasn't the guy I saw 5 nights ago.
Yeah.
I forget where I was going here, but
I got a place.
You're on a roll.
I will say, with Luka playing this bad to start the year, you do have to be somewhat, I guess you've had 2 games that are against teams that we don't expect to make the playoffs in San Antonio and Utah.
Correct.
But to be 3-1 and Luka not playing very good basketball, or at least inconsistent, to be nice, if you want me to say, no, Luka's the best. All right, but he's 10 of 27 last night. Luckily, he made an 80-foot three-pointer.
He was 1 of 8 from 3,
and
but
the one he made was closer to half court than the three-point line, and it was a huge 3 to go up by 8.
You love what he said afterwards when he looked at that fan and said, that's what I effing do. And it's like he's just doing the same thing he did last time he was there with those daggers.
Yeah, he should have booby shake, because that was definitely an Antoine Walker night from 3 again.
The one thing, I was listening to them talk, and they were talking about the luxury of Lively and Gafford and having those two, and just they're like talking like we have 48 minutes. They can just be on the court and they can just rotate those guys. They never get tired. And almost immediately after they say that, Gafford hits his knee and takes off. Immediately takes off. I was like, oh my gosh, you have this awesome luxury. And what is this team if he's not? I know Lively's good, but you change if you lose one of those guys.
I agree, because Lively can max out at, let's go crazy. He can max out at 34 minutes, and that's probably more than you would want to see on a consistent basis. That still gives you like a good quarter plus of a void. Were you concerned because that was probably a real injury versus when someone else looked like they got hurt on the team and they're like, I don't know.
Luka's the boy who cried wolf. And this is where
that's
people,
fair, right?
People who are just complete. We love Luka. I want to make sure everybody listening knows everybody here loves Luka.
Yes.
But he is such a faker when it comes to injuries. Then when he is really hurt, we don't know. You don't know. As a Luka lover.
Yes.
The man could not walk. He needed people to drag him to the back to get x-rays and MRIs, and we thought his season might be done with. Because people who act the way he acted, It's a major thing. My wife was watching with me. Not that she's a knee doctor, but she's like, because she watched the replay. She's like, I don't know, maybe a meniscus tear or something, because nothing twisted bad.
But she was concerned.
But she was like, the way he's
looked
acting.
like Diggs, right?
Yes.
Where nothing really happened. So what happened?
And so it's just tough with Luka. If he's laying on the ground and looks like his life is over, he might just be faking it, and he'll be fine 5 minutes later. 15 minutes later, he could run up and down a court, but if things didn't go his way, then he limped a little bit. It was amazing if things went his way.
Very Tiger Woods-esque.
Yeah, so anyways, I love him, but man, what a faker. And it's just no way we can know as a fan of the Mavs and Luka if he's ever really hurt or not, because he's going to fake non-injuries.
Yeah. That's just, but we're to the point now where, like, that's just part of the package.
But
right?
I believed it. Did you guys believe it when he couldn't? I don't know. I did believe it. I was like, oh, no.
And Twitter did, too. Twitter was going,
Yeah.
like, losing their minds. They're like, oh, no, not torn, whatever. Quentin Grimes, quality basketball player, gentlemen. I think
Yes.
I'm pretty happy with who he is. Is he, you don't like him?
Tell me about that head shake there.
I'm not sure about him. I think he's good to have on the team. Don't get me wrong. I think he's good to have on the team. I'm just not sure. It's early. It's 4 games. How he fits, where he fits. Is he going to be a playoff rotational guy? Because you get down to 8 guys in the playoffs.
Yep.
Can he be, to your point, I don't know, can he be one of your 8? I don't think so, but it's 4 games in. He's trying to find his way on a new team. He played for the worst team, the Pistons, when he got traded from the Knicks. He didn't fit in with Jalen Brunson-led Knicks. He fit in before Jalen Brunson. So Jalen Brunson, he doesn't handle the ball as much as Luka,
right,
but he does handle the ball a lot in New York. He did not fit in that well with that team. So he's coming to a team that is even more dominant with one person having the ball. So I wonder, I'm not opposed to Quentin Grimes. I like that the Mavericks picked him up. I'm just trying to still keep seeing, how does he eventually fit in, or do we get to, we're a long way from this, mid-March, and we just go, oh, okay, like, I get it. Najee Marshall, Maxi Kleba, and Lively are your main 3 off the bench. I don't know. It's
if
tough.
Kleba's
We'll
available.
see.
But I guess what I was watching, I saw a dude that looked comfortable in the offense, and he looked comfortable defensively. So the comfort
High energy.
He's Josh Green.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's more skilled than Josh Green, and he looks a lot calmer. Like Josh Green, high energy, but just looks frantic.